Hello friends! Today I have a single page scrapbook layout for you, and I have the pleasure of scrap lifting my good friend Erin Jaconbson. This is the layout that I am scrap lifting of hers, and I know it's kind of hard to see here. I'll show you a better comparison at the end when I compare mine and hers. This is a celebration of Erin's 20,000 subscriber mark. So incredible. I'm so proud of her, and the creative design team and I are all scrap lifting her to celebrate this amazing achievement. I have 4 3x4 photos just like she did on her layout, and I'm going to use this Let's Party collection because the colors match my son's swim trunks perfectly. Now, probably most of you are familiar with Erin's channel, and one of the things that she always talks about is to start with the scraps that you have. So the pattern paper that she used is skinnier than what I have, but this is probably about here, but this is the size scrap that I had, so I thought, you know what, I'll just try using the whole thing and we'll see how it turns out. And as it turns out, it works really nicely, and if you look at the right side, the white paper, it's probably about the same width as her patterned paper. So I've basically just flip-flopped the size of the white and the patterned paper. For my photo mats, I'm doing just what she did, putting 2 of the photos on one photo mat, and I chose Sundance, which is the yellow in this paper pack, but I flipped it over to the light side. Close to My Heart's cardstock has a true color on one side and a light version of that color on the other side, which I love because I thought that the true color was just a little bit too dark. This black and white sort of polka dot paper is what I'm using, where she used that like corrugated metal paper. And I was trying to decide if I want to cut mine the same as hers or not. Again, I'm pretty sure she used scraps in the sizes that she had. I will link her video down in the description below so you can watch hers too if you'd like. But first I decided to cut it a little bit wider, but then later on I'm going to decide to cut that down a little bit more as well because of the way I wanted to embellish. I love scrap lifting other people. It's such a great way to get more out of a sketch or a page design. And I love seeing how the same design can look so different. Same, but different, right? So it's really fun to see how this turned out and how you can tell that it was derived from Erin's page, but it totally has my spin on it. Now here I was going back and forth deciding if I want to line up my photo mats right on top of each other. Typically I am a line them up perfectly type of person. Erin loves to offset things, and for good reason. What she explains is that it gives you little nooks and crannies to add embellishments. So I was going back and forth and back and forth. I think I even cut out some footage because I kept trying it both ways. But what I ended up doing is staying true to how Erin did it and had these offset. And I really like the look of it, especially once I add the tags and the embellishments. So here's where I decided that I want to cut that down a little bit more. That way both of the photo mats are hanging off just a little bit, and that's going to help when I go to add my title. At this point, I am happy with where I'm at in my design so far, so I am going to go ahead and commit and glue those papers down. So these photos that I'm documenting are of my son, and he just happened to be wearing his swimsuit. We probably came back from the pool, and I was doing some laundry, and he is such a good helper all the time. He just always wants to help. I want to help. I want to do it. He's just the best. And as you can see, I'm going to use the same title Erin did, The Best, and it just happened to work out perfectly for these photos. We call him our little dude, and we often say, oh, you're the best dude, you're the best kid. And so I was trying to add some little letters under here that said kid or dude, and I was at a scrapbooking retreat and I didn't have any other small alphabets except for these. I wasn't liking the way it looked, but it turns out I'm just going to leave it and not add that because I really liked it just left alone, and I'm going to put the best dude or the best kid in my journaling. So now I'm looking through my embellishment book to find some embellishments for this page. I created this little book probably 6 to 9 months ago, and I have been loving it because I can just flip through it. I have everything color coordinated and pull out embellishments. Some of these are so old that I just forgot about, and it's really helping me get through my stash of embellishments faster than I would have. I still have tons to go through, but I have a whole video showing how I created this book, and I will link that down in the description below. I'm also pulling out the stamp of the month for January because I want to use this little notebook paper for my journaling spot. I've already gotten so much use out of this stamp of the month. I love it. I even had a little die cut already cut that I saved in my little stamp envelope, and I'll just stamp the little notebook paper on there. If you're not familiar with Close to My Heart's Stamp of the Month, it's a really, really awesome program where if you are a VIP, you can get the Stamp of the Month for free. And if you're not a VIP, you can get it for just $5, and it's a $19.95 value. And sometimes they come with matching dies like this one. And so in this case, the matching dies are only $9.95 more. So if you're VIP, you can get the stamp set with dies for $9.95. If you're not a VIP, it's $14.95. So really, really good deal. I'll have a link below with all of the details. All right, so back to what I'm doing. I was thinking I wanted to stamp it in Bluebird to kind of pull that Bluebird color over from the patterned paper. But then I decided, you know what? I don't think I like that. I want to try black. And so I'm just trying it on scrap paper and holding it up. And that's a really good way to test out colors before you actually commit and stamp it onto your die cut piece, because you know, I don't want to have to die cut it again. So I did decide on the black, and I usually use Archival black if I'm not coloring with alcohol markers because it is the darkest, most vivid black. It does stain your stamps a little bit though, but if you clean them off quickly, it will stain a little bit less. I use a stamp chamois to clean mine, and all you need is water. Now, Erin had some tags over on the left side of her layout. I'm using the same tag die, which is from the Buildable Tags set, and that cute little reinforcement. She actually used 2 tags, but I'm just going to use one. So I'm going to use the one color kind of as a background to put my embellishments on, and then I'm going to use my little journaling spot there, kind of in the place of the other tag that she used. The paper that I use, by the way, is an old mix-in pack. I keep all of my old mix-in papers that I haven't used, which are kind of like tone-on-tone papers that are designed to go with the Close to My Heart papers in a catalog cycle. Whatever I don't use, I put all of the colors in rainbow order in a little zip top bag, and then I pull out all the neutrals, and I put all the neutrals together in a separate zip top bag. That way, in this case, I knew I wanted some red, so I sifted through my little mix-in zip top bag and found a red that would work. And then I drew that same color up in the top where I have those little banners hanging down. Now I'm just going to go through and add little bits and pieces of all of these stickers and embellishments that I pulled out of my book. I pulled more than I knew I would need, but I just wanted to have plenty to choose from. Back to the photos, I never finished telling you the story. So my son wanted to help do laundry when I was doing laundry, and he wanted to get up there and pour the laundry detergent and pull everything out of the washer and put it into the dryer. And it was so funny. He just like hops up on top of the washer, and you can see in that first picture, I put them in order to kind of tell the story. He's up there on top of the washer getting down the laundry detergent, and then he hopped up. Now I'm covering it up, but he hopped up and was pulling the stuff out of the washer, and then would get down and throw it in the dryer, and then would hop back up so he could reach down in there. It was so funny. He is such a hoot. All right, so here again, I was at a retreat. I didn't have all my stuff, so I used my clear shimmer brush with the Bluebird ink to make my own Bluebird splatters. And this is how I'm drawing that Bluebird over from the left pattern paper over to the right side. So I showed this also in depth in my last video. I will link that down below if you would like to watch that, but make sure that you clean it afterwards so that it goes back to clear. But you can do this with any color ink pad. Now I'm going to continue auditioning all of these various embellishments. This one here I loved. It said like awesome meter or something. It was from an old sticker pack, like for a boys paper pack. It was so cute, but I just wasn't liking the shape and the color there, so I'll try to fit it onto another layout. I especially love all of the black glitter arrows. I was so excited to find those in my little book because it adds a little bit of glam, which you know I love having on my pages, even though it's a boy page, without being overwhelming, and it draws in more black on the layout because we have just little puffs of black, which I think helps draw your eye around the page. So you have the black title, and then you've got those 2 black arrows, and I'm going to eventually add another little black arrow up next to the title as well. I've got all of these little stars, which worked absolutely perfectly, and that I'm scattering around the page. If you're scrap lifting this layout as well and you don't have all of these little stars, you can use little dots or gems or anything small. You can even use stamps. So you could, find a little star stamp or a little heart stamp in your stash and just scatter those around and stamp them on the page. Now, if you watched my last video, you know I'm slightly obsessed with this Remember This Moment stamp set. There is just a phrase that works for just about any scrapbook layout you want to use. So on this one, I used It's the Little Things, which, how perfect is that? Of course, this is just like a little everyday life little thing that's going on. And so I stamped that in Bluebird, and I'm going to ink just around the edges to make it pop. I love how this creates those like word sentiments that you often find on sticker sheets, but you're able to customize it with the color and the sentiment. So I just love, love, love this set. I have all of the supplies that I'm using linked down below, whatever's still available. Some of the stuff like the embellishments in my embellishment book are retired, but a lot of this stuff like the paper and that stamp set, of course, and the title I used are all still available. Since that little word sentiment is on 2 layers of mats, I cut these teeny tiny little slivers to put on the end since I have it hanging off the mat, and that will just make sure that it's even and it's not gonna like dip down once I put it into my scrapbook. I wanted to add a little bit of twine to my tag so it's not just naked, as my friend Katie would say, and I found this black and white baker's twine in my stash. It's a pretty big hole, so I was thinking I would double, or I ended up actually even tripling it and putting it through. And one thing that Erin does a lot with her tags is she will feed the twine or ribbon or whatever it is through the hole, and then she'll tie a bow around the ribbon. So I'm going to try that first since I am scrap lifting Erin after all. We'll get this little bow tied here, and you can see I have a lot of little strands of the baker's twine, and since it's black and white, it's kind of a busy pattern in itself, and it's on top of a busy patterned paper. I just wasn't liking it, so I'm going to take that off and I'm going to remove one of the strands. So now I only have 2 strands of baker's twine, and I'm going to feed it through the old-fashioned way, the way I normally do it, where I loop it and then I put the tips through the little loop and have that going up. It was still a little bit too busy for me though, so I ended up separating the black and the white colors so it's not twisted up, if that makes sense. And I think that that makes it feel not quite as busy and ends up looking really cute. So here is a close-up of how all of that turned out, and you can also find close-up photos over on my Instagram and Facebook pages. I have all of my social media links down below. Now let me pop Erin's photo up on the screen so you can see the original. I think that they are both so cute and so different. Don't forget to check out the rest of the videos from the creative design team and how they scrap lifted Erin. That playlist is on the right. And another video of mine where I use these same colors in a much different way is on the left. Thanks for watching.